The Atlanta Falcons waste no time making massive moves after a disappointing loss to the New England Patriots. Come on now, we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons here. They didn't really make any big moves. So, I digress. But we all know about the Falcons game, and let's just say it came down to one big issue. Well, there's a lot of issues, but one big glaring issue, and that was the kicker. Now, I will say this. Today is the NFL trade deadline, and by no shocking move at all, the Falcons did absolutely nothing. 3-5 on the season, and apparently this team is comfortable with being mediocre. That's fine by them. Maybe they're still hoping something magically changes, but as we all know, that is the literal definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. But outside of the trade deadline, the Falcons did make a couple of medium-sized moves. Not huge, but enough to make you raise your eyebrow and say, oh, okay. The first move, the Atlanta Falcons released kicker Parker Romo. And honestly, yeah, that one makes a lot of sense. Romo missed what should have been a simple extra point, not even a field goal, an extra point that would have changed the entire game. Instead, he misses it, and the Falcons lose. So they cut him. You just wipe your hands off and keep moving. Now this sends a message. If you're not going to do your job, we're going to find someone who will. Now, personally, I think they need to apply that logic to a few other positions and a few other coaches. You know what I'm talking about, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. But that's for another conversation for another day. So, Romo's gone, and that is move number one. Move number two. The Falcons are planning to sign Zane Gonzalez. Now, for some reason, this hasn't been officially announced, but multiple reports are saying that the Falcons plan to bring in Gonzalez, and honestly, he's a solid kicker. He's not elite, but he's somewhat steady. Now, just to give you some numbers, when he was with Washington, he went 5 for 7 on field goals and 19 for 19 on extra points during the regular season. In the playoffs, he was 7 for 8 on field goals and perfect on his PATs. His only misses have truly come from like 50 yards or plus. So overall, it's not bad. He's pretty consistent from short range, which, after watching last week's game, is exactly what this team needs. Now, the biggest move Atlanta has made, and probably the most telling about the future, is that the Falcons are reportedly signing offensive guard Andrew Stuber. Now, this one might not sound flashy, but it's actually a pretty big signal about what's going on internally with the offensive line. Because this move clearly means that something is up with the current guards. We saw both Chris Lindstrom and Matthew Bergeron leave last week's game with injuries, and this signing all but confirms that one of them, maybe both, won't play this Sunday. Now, hopefully, it's Bergeron, and no disrespect to Matthew Bergeron, but losing Lindstrom would be a massive blow. So, who is Andrew Stuber, you may ask? He's a familiar face. Now, he spent the 2024 preseason with the Atlanta Falcons. He started 3 preseason games, played nearly every snap in those games, and logged some really solid time. He didn't make the final 53-man roster last year, but he did spend about a month on the Falcons practice squad before being signed by the Cincinnati Bengals to their active roster. Now, he appeared in 7 games for the Bengals, saw a few snaps on offense, and did this. Notably, didn't draw a single penalty. So clearly, Atlanta saw something they liked. Maybe it's the familiarity with the system. Maybe it's the reliability. But this is the move that tells me that the Falcons are like, look, he's better than what we got sitting out there, so we might as well go get him. Now, it's not flashy, but it's a move that addresses a need. So when you put all of this together, it's still a bit of a mixed bag. The Falcons completely passed on the trade deadline, which I don't get. Even if you're like, we're not that good, we're going to be sellers, or even if you're like, we don't know, at least make a little bit of move. This roster isn't like the best in the NFC, but I digress. Even though today pretty much every team made some massive moves. Instead, they decided to trim some fat, fix a glaring kicking issue, and tried to patch the offensive line. So Parker Romo is gone. Zane Gonzalez is the new guy coming in. Andrew Stuber is joining the team. And that tells me one thing. Atlanta is trying to hold it together. I think they're using like bubble gum at this point. But the further they go along, the further we see they're running out of answers. And to be honest, it feels like this team is reaching for something that simply isn't there. And they keep making these mid-level moves, trying to plug holes into a sinking ship, but nothing really changes the trajectory of this season. So yeah, those are your Falcons updates. They're not the massive moves. They're actually small changes after a very disappointing loss. Is it enough to turn things around? Probably not, but I will say this. At least they're doing something. We'll just say that. It may not be a lot, but at least they're doing a little bit of something, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. Was cutting Parker Romo the right move? Obviously, most of you are probably going to say yes, but let me know in the comments. And can Zane Gonzalez be the answer at kicker? I don't know. And what do you make of the Andrew Stuber signing? Good depth or just another temporary fix? And if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And like always, peace.